cookies and the wine. It'll take me about an hour.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. Is they didn't commit to a brand yet.
Yeah.
It was just right
Just
there,
the
and you
outlet.
plug it in. But it's so weird. In my mind, it's a garage, and that's 240. So someone's doing some welding in here.
A second dryer?
Tire compressor.
Then it was funny because they had the realtor was giving me a tour, and the guy who built the house, I think on spec or something, the builder came by and he kind of walked past, and he didn't seem like he was in a sell mode with me. He just kind of walked past me and said hi, and he sat outside, and then later on I was walking out. I was like, I don't know, why isn't this guy walking me through and telling me how he used the steel over here when he could have used a glue lamp beam, but he took it to the next level, whatever. And then I realized as I was walking out to the driveway with the realtor that I'd parked my Infiniti on the driveway and the big piano tuning sign. This guy was reading the piano tuning sign as he was walking
Let
in.
that be a lesson.
And he was like, no guy who tunes piano can afford
I don't care
it.
how good you are at tuning piano.
Well, how many could you possibly tune at once?
Well,
you know what
afford
I mean?
$11 million.
Enough to buy a $90,000 SUV, right? Like
That's true. That's true. But he probably wasn't doing that,
he was
man.
like, no.
That could have turned real Curb Your Enthusiasm real fast.
Well-
I want to know why you don't think I can a piano tuner can't afford this house.
Anybody with a magnetic sign on any vehicle cannot afford a $12 million home. I'm going to say, but there it was. Like, so I guess in the New World Order, when you build a new home, you wire it for that 240 in the garage. At some point, 220 became 240. I don't know when that happened.
I don't know. I don't know when
going
is 110 and 120 and then 220 and 240.
I don't know how 110 becomes 220 because you double it up.
Yeah, but I'm
then
saying
how
when did 110 become 120 and then 220 become 240?
Don't know. It's all in a little vignette in the movie Mr. Mom.
Oh,
Yes.
is it?
I believe.
220,
Wow, deep
221.
Paul.
Yeah.
Wow.
Whatever it takes.
If you
Whatever it takes, that's right.
If you find that little
Yep.
vignette in Mr. Mom, you'll hear him talking about 220, 225, or whatever.
He says 220, 221, whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes,
Martin
right.
Mull, Michael Keaton, Terry Garr.
Yeah, it's a deep kind of pull because you have to know what 220
Right.
is back.
But it was
back then.
weird that when he's like, I'm wiring up the living room, and Martin Mull's like, you're going to make it all 220? Yeah, why am I making my entire living room 220? I
Well,
just,
these are
do lots of welding.
All these stupid writers in Hollywood, like the amount of money, and also if you plugged your end table lamp into 220, it would blow up.
It would explode. Yeah.
If you couldn't plug a toaster, or I have done.
Get your toaster to go twice as fast.
I've run
my
stuff.
goodness.
I have run stuff off a 220 that you're not, drills and shit that you're not supposed to. They go berserk. Sorry.
Can we please just watch all of Mr.
All right,
Mom?
let's just do it. Here it is.
Taking advantage of some of the time off to add a whole new wing on here. I'm going to rip these walls out and, of course, rewire it.
Yeah, you're going to make it all 220?
Yeah, 220, 221, whatever it takes.
Well, you sound like a pretty handy guy.
Right. Now, here's why
love that movie.
Hollywood screenwriters are horrible.
Yeah.
When Martin Mull asked the question, we now know that he doesn't know,
Right.
although he's supposed to know. So he could have said 110, and he could have said 110, 111. Could have done the same joke. It would have been factually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But anyway.
110, 115,
Right,
whatever
whatever
it takes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be the line. All right, well, let's keep going before I get going on Ghost Rider, because I'm going to start getting angry.
Yeah.
Or possibly Transformers and what's under the hood.
I don't know.
So the electric truck department. where are
Electric
we at?
trucks. So this is a big segment, and everybody's going to start to come out with electric trucks. But if you think of like an F-150, Chevy Silverado, F-150 sells something like 1 million trucks a year. So if you make an electric F-150, even just scratching the surface, you could be selling 200,000 trucks a year, which is more than anybody's selling electric vehicles, really. And that could ultimately bring the costs down quite a bit. You don't need a $100,000 electric F-150. Not to mention, all the car companies are bragging about how much torque the electric motor makes. Well, but when do you use it? I mean, do you use it going to 0 to 60 trying to go fast? It's in the truck world when you want to tow something, right? So an F-150 could tow 13,000 pounds, but Ford is already doing these teasers going, oh, well, the electric F-150 tows 1 million pounds. Like we could tow a train.
The amount of it's all torque when it comes to towing,
Yeah.
and the amount of torque produced by a gasoline-powered engine is less than a diesel-powered engine. You get more torque. That's why all the big trucks are diesel.
But not just less, it's when it is. A gas-powered engine makes all of its power, horsepower and torque, zero at 0 RPM, and you have to accelerate.
Right.
And whereas an electric motor makes all of its power right from the get-go. As soon as you just lean in on the throttle,
immediate torque.
It's
Right.
immediate
Takes off.
torque. Yeah. So the company that I like right now that I think is making some smart moves is Rivian. Rivian came out at the LA Auto Show a couple of years ago. They've been around for a while now, but working on their technology. And they came out with an electric pickup truck and an SUV. And their technology was impressive enough that two things happened. Ford went to them and invested $500 million into the company. And now Rivian is sharing technology with Ford, whereas the F-150, electric F-150, is homebrewed at Ford. But everything on the Lincoln side that's electric, any electric SUV from Lincoln, will be based off of Rivian technology. And then Amazon came in and said, well, we like what you're doing as well. And they were the lead of another $700 million round. I don't know how much Amazon put in, but not only did they put a big portion of that $700 million in, then they went back and they said, we want you to make an electric van, and we put in an order for 100,000 vans. So they invested in the company, and then they became a client as well, like the Hair Club for Men guy. And they bought 100,000 vans.
Smart.
Because now they want all their delivery vehicles to be basically of zero carbon footprint is what they're trying to do. As zero as you can get. You got to plug them all in, and tires, tires go into a landfill somewhere,
nothing's free, batteries and everything.
Yeah.
But, it also struck me as I think about this automated world. You go, what about when we get these automated trucks and there's no more jobs for truck drivers? Like everyone's doing this no more jobs for.
Yeah.
But you think about these all-electric fleets with no moving parts, really. I mean, some moving parts, but what I'm saying is the business of the maintenance business on a fleet was a major business in this country. First off, you can't outsource it. You can't take all the school buses and delivery vans and cop cars and send them to India. And it's a constant changing of fluids and oils and belts. And it's a constant maintenance. And that's an entire industry that's obviously a lot of and it's all manpower. It's like you cannot change the oil, change the belts, and change whatever. That guy has to be certified. He's going to mechanic school. He works full time doing, maintaining all these vehicles. And these things all go to electric. Like all the cop cars go to electric and all the delivery vans go to electric. There's going to be stuff to do on them, but not what it was.
Right.
At all. Like, I mean, you think about back in the day when you were growing up, and maybe if you're listening or in this room, maybe your mom had a station wagon, and it was a lot of like, well, we're 20,000 miles. We got to bring it into Ford, and we drop it off for a couple days, and they're going to do, and then they do the timing chain or the timing belt at this amount of hours, and then they have to flush the cooling system when we get to 60,000 miles. Lynette's got her a Tesla. I don't know that anything happens other than she just plugs it in and then unplugs it and drives it.
Well, and it's like we've said before, like even with my Subaru, when you used to open a car, you see everything, you can tinker with everything. Now they're kind of tinker-proof, like there's a plastic plate over it, and they kind of just want you to leave it alone.
There's not even a dipstick anymore. Like,
you're
right. You have to search the computer.
I yelled at my dad once. He's like, "Where's the dipstick on my?" I think it was an Audi 3, from 10 years ago. I was like, "You dumb old man, open a goddamn hood! Don't be an asshole." It's just, I think it sparked something in me. I was like, "You wouldn't know where a dick dip is, you dick dip. Of course you don't know because you've never done a day." And then I popped the hood. I threw the hood open. I was like, "It's right over." Well, it's an inline four. I was like still yelling, but
slam the hood. I'll show you later.
I was like, what the fuck?
Chuck the car up. You can't even do it. Now they didn't want you to check anything. They don't want you to do anything. Soon they're just going to eliminate the cap to fill the oil completely, right?
Well, when we go all electric, I don't know what there is some maintenance involved with an electric car, but I don't. My wife's had 2 or 3 Teslas now. I don't know what that maintenance is.
No.
They do it over the phone now. They do like an upgrade.
Yeah, there's
Like an
all
Apple-
sorts of
Apple
there's
Tech.
all sorts of updates and stuff they can just do over the air now. By the way, all cars are going to start to get that, whether electric or not. They're going to fix problems by just doing it over the air because it's so cheap now to add Wi-Fi and stuff to it. You can do that. But you're right. The normal wear and tear items, a battery or not necessarily battery, but suspension bushings, brake pads, tires, things like that. But a lot of that stuff is so good. It's almost 100,000 miles. Maybe not quite tires, but
So the truck, when do you think the F-150 is coming?
so it should be 2021, probably somewhere mid-21. That should come out. And the Rivian says they're going to start production the middle of maybe second half of this year.
What do you think the Ford F-150 electric is going to sticker for?
So I think it might have it depends if they want to take a loss. My thought on it is we've seen a few like crazy supercars. Lexus LFA has rumored to have a big loss on it. Would be, I think they want to be like a $65,000 truck.
Right. So they'll do what they did with the Ford GT, possibly.
Yeah. Maybe the first 50,000 F-150s, they take a hit. But the F-150 is one of the most profitable vehicles out there. You know, when you buy a truck, you can, you know, when the 20s are on the lot and the 21s come out, not electric, regular trucks, and you go, hey, 8,000 off sticker. We're like, oh, how can you knock 8,000 off and nobody's really taking a hit on this thing? Because trucks are so profitable.
I'll ask you guys a philosophical question. Take the 20,000-foot view. I'm not committed to this point of view because I just thought of it, but it just occurred to me. Is Ford and other truck manufacturers overestimating the potential popularity of the electric trucks? Because will there be a philosophical resistance to those from like dudes who fucking love their truck, hang nuts off the back of them, and want to pump gas into them? Like these are dudes who may have a philosophical resistance to electrical.
Yes, absolutely. But we've already started to see that and overcome that in the supercar world and
These
other
are different
segments.
dudes, though. I mean,
They are different guys.
No,
Well,
but they're petrol heads.
Yeah.
They thought, we thought that the gearheads would not embrace an electric supercar. We wanted that V12 Ferrari roaring kind of thing. And those guys are slowly transitioning and getting over it. And it's a different crowd, but it's the same it's the same premise, which is these guys love the smell of fuel and exhaust and everything. But also understand that one of these guys dies of emphysema every other day, and there's a new child is born. My kids, they grew up in an electric car. If my son wants a truck, he's probably going to want, not that he's going to work or do anything that we require a truck, but if that guy wants a truck, he's not going to think twice about the electric part of it.
Well, you think about why are you buying those things, and there's a performance automotive group that's buying cars for the way they sound, and that's why we still like a lot of Ferraris and Lamborghinis. And but there's the performance end of that group, or they just want the performance, and they would go to something electric because they're incredibly fast.
Well, I want to hear about this Koenigsegg, this crazy. But what is that? Sorry, is that guy
Christian von
Koenigsegg or whatever?
That's a Bond villain.
Oh, he totally is a Bond. He looks like a Bond villain.
Really?
He's just bald. He looks like Dr.
He looks
Evil.
like a Bond villain.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Listen, everyone makes fun of these evil white guys, but hey, that's where all the supercars come from. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
The Puerto Rican chicks, not so much in the supercar department. The crazy guys from I don't know, he's Finnish or
Eastern Blocks or and he
and he
nice.
There he is.
Yeah.
Right? He looks
He fits the bill.
menacing.
these guys. Is he Swedish or something? But anyway, he's got a new hybrid electric car. It's called the Gamera, right? Because not Gamera, like from Godzilla, but the Gamera. And this thing is insane. It is a four-seater.
Are we looking at? Is that it?
That's not it.
Okay.
We'll bring it up. So this is it. It's a four-seater, but it's two-door, and the door opens up like a big scissor, pops out and goes straight up.
Right.
And all four people can get in and out at the same time, and it really has a lot of room in it, and it's really kind of cool. But the specs on it are just batshit crazy. It's got almost 1,700 horsepower.
When you combine
Should be illegal.
when you combine the engine, the gas powered engine with the electric engines. It's at 1700.
And that's it. So there's a tiny gas engine and 3 electric motors.
And the torque is like 2,500?
2,600. Just under 2,600.
All right. So for those of you who aren't gearheads like Gina, let's say,